Hey everybody, Blitzball Champs back here with a brand new video here on YouTube. Tonight I wanted to talk about the Carolina Panthers 2020 regular season schedule, and I wanted to kind of break down the schedule and sort of give my predictions. But yeah, so this is for the upcoming 2020 season. I couldn't help but notice that the Panthers' preseason schedule is going to be against all AFC teams. Against the Jaguars at home, against the Patriots and Ravens on the road, and finishing at home against the Steelers. So it's an all AFC battle for the preseason, so should be interesting. But let's go ahead and get into the first game of the regular season. So, Carolina Panthers will open up at home against the Las Vegas Raiders. My dad is actually a diehard Raiders fan, and I would have loved to have been able to go to this game with him and my nephew, which this game is actually on my nephew's birthday. But, you know, we decided not to really take any chances with everything going on with the XO crisis. Anyway, week 1, home game against the Las Vegas Raiders. Now, if I remember correctly, the last time we even played the Raiders in the regular season, Khalil Mack ate us up on defense. Now, I know that, you know, it was still a pretty close game, but the Raiders ended up getting the win. But, you know, they no longer have Khalil Mack. I can't say the Raiders are a good team, but they're not quite a terrible team. So I think this is a good opening round. I think this is a good opening test. I think it's very winnable. And you know what? I'm going to say that's the first win we get. I really feel like this is a good starting out test for the Panthers to really see if they can fire on all cylinders early. You know, it's not a divisional game, and it's a home game. And I feel like, you know, even though on paper, you know, they're the better team, especially last season, I think this is a good test, and I think this is a very winnable game. So I'm gonna notch this one as a win. It'll probably be a close game, but I really feel like, you know, the Panthers have a good chance to really get some pressure on Derek Carr on defense, and I feel like they could really do some damage. So I'm gonna say this will be a win for Carolina. I think this is a good test for them, and I think they'll be able to notch their first win in week 1. And then next up, already, first division game, week 2, it's an away game against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, the new Tom Brady-led Buccaneers. Now, you know, Tampa Bay is, you know, just pretty much going to be a totally different team now that Jameis Winston's no longer with the team. They got a bigger quarterback upgrade in Tom Brady. Now, me personally, it's not that I'm, you know, scared or anything of Tom Brady. I mean, I know the Panthers have been able to defeat Tom Brady when he was on the Patriots, but like I said, entirely different team this time. To be honest, I really don't. Now, last season, we split the series with Tampa Bay. We beat them in London. We had the game in London, and we beat them. So, I think this time we'll probably split the series. As much as I want and hope this will be a win, I think this first meetup is going to be a loss. only because, Tom Brady's there. It's an away game. The Bucs, got themselves some weapons now, and with this being a divisional game, the NFC South is one of the toughest divisions in the league, and it's been that way for the last handful of years. So I hope that Carolina can bring it in this game. I really do. They finished at the bottom of the division last year, and as a matter of fact, the only divisional win that they got last year was against Tampa Bay, because they lost both meetings to the Saints and they lost both meetings to the Falcons. So this will be tough, but I got a feeling this is where they get their first loss. I think this is where Carolina will get their first loss against Tampa Bay. Next up, they continue on the road, week 3 against the Los Angeles Chargers. So, Los Angeles Chargers no longer has Phillip Rivers. They too finished last in their division last season. I definitely feel like this is a good opportunity. Whether they, I'm trying to remember if they ended up drafting Jordan Love or Justin Herbert. I think it was Love. I keep getting mixed up between the two because one is with Green Bay and the other's with San Diego. But I really feel like this is a good chance that we'll win this game. I feel like this is where we'll get our first away win on the road against San Diego. I just really feel like the strength that we have and just what we can do with the new additions. Oh, Justin Herbert. They drafted Justin Herbert. Okay. So I think with what we went with on defense, I think we got a great chance of pressuring Justin Herbert. We got one of their top guards on our team now in Schofield, who's been consistent, who started every game with us with the Chargers. So I think this should be a win. I really feel this should be a win. I think we're in great position to be able to do some damage to this team and get our first away win. So I believe that Carolina will defeat the Chargers. Okay, week 4. Week 4, we go back home against the Arizona Cardinals. The Cardinals, a team that we beat last season. They really did a good job in pressuring Kyler Murray. And, the Cardinals finished last in their division last season. I don't really expect anything different. I am curious to see, how Isaiah Simmons, how they do on defense with Isaiah Simmons, because, that was their number 1 draft pick, which they drafted right after Carolina. But, and I believe Larry Fitzgerald is still playing, so always got to keep an eye on him. He may be up there in age, but the man can still ball. But I really believe we should have this win. I really do. I don't really see too much differences in the team now. I think the real thing is just continuing to pressure Kyler Murray. He's young. He's got room to grow. But I really feel like Carolina can win this game. I really do. I really, really do. So I'm gonna notch this as a win. I'm gonna notch this as a win. Week 5, we got the Atlanta Falcons in Atlanta. Now, I'm going to tell you right now, unfortunately, for the last handful of years, Carolina has not been able to beat the Falcons in Atlanta. And to be honest with you, I don't think that trend is going to end anytime soon. I just don't. So, unfortunately, I'm going to have to say that this is most likely going to be a loss. I just don't really feel like I'm not convinced that Carolina plays well in Atlanta. I'm not. I mean, even in the 15-1 season, what was their one loss? At Atlanta. So I'm just really not convinced that just ignore that. But I really don't feel like Carolina has the strength. I mean, they have the strength to win this game. They just have not been able to win in Atlanta in the last handful of years. And I don't really see that changing anytime soon. So unfortunately, I'm gonna have to say that this will most likely be a loss. But I'm very curious to see how the defense and offense does in this game. Atlanta had that last ditch stint about the middle of the season last year, and they racked up a lot of wins. Even though they finished 7-9, they finished second in the division. So they're still a force to be reckoned with. So, and they got a tough offense. They got a very tough offense. They picked up Todd Gurley. So, Atlanta's going to have a pretty strong offense. Still with Julio Jones, with Calvin Ridley. Like, they got a lot of weapons. So, I'm curious to see how our defense will do. But I'm just not confident that we'll win this game, unfortunately. So after this, I say we'll be 3-2. Okay. Week 6. We head back home and we play the Chicago Bears. Chicago. It's actually been kind of a long while, or not too long, but it's been a little bit since Carolina's last played Chicago. But when they did, even though it was a low-scoring game, Carolina just got destroyed. Carolina's offense just could not get anything going, and the Bears' defense just wreaked havoc. I mean, just all game. Because, honestly, the Bears' offense didn't even do good. Their offense didn't even do good. But their defense showed up and just Carolina couldn't get through. So this one's kind of tough to call. This one's, I mean, there's still a lot that I feel is uncertain with Mitchell Trubisky, but I don't know. And they picked up Ted Ginn, so they got, another offensive weapon. I mean, I don't know. I really don't know. Because I believe they went, I think they went offensive line in the draft, if I remember correctly. I think that was their first draft pick, but I could be wrong. I didn't really keep up. But, I mean, I don't know. And, with them getting Nick Foles at quarterback, I mean, it's still kind of up in the air, but I think we'll squeak by with a win. And I say that because this Bears team just seems like anything could happen. I can't really say that I'm confident that this should be an easy win, but I can't say that this, should be a guaranteed loss. So I'm going to predict a win because, I mean, they finished 8-8 last season. So it's not like they were an extremely terrible team. So I think we should be able to squeak by with a win. That's what I'm predicting. It'll probably be really, really close, but I think Carolina should squeak by with a win. Then, week 7. Our first meeting with the New Orleans Saints at the Louisiana Superdome. Oh, geez. This away game, or excuse me, Mercedes-Benz Superdome. Oh, man. Yeah. I'm sorry, but when you got a New Orleans Saints team led by Drew Brees and just they're firing on all cylinders on offense and defense, I don't see this as a win. I really don't. I mean, I'm not saying that they're impossible to beat, but I'm just not convinced that we'll be able to beat them on the road. I just don't think it'll happen. I really don't. I really don't. You know, Drew Brees, when he's on fire and he's healthy, Drew Brees is... Like, I'm more scared of Drew Brees than I am of Tom Brady. I'm just keeping it 100 with you. I'm more scared of Drew Brees. But, I think it'll be a good effort, but I just don't see us winning this game. I really don't. I really don't see us winning this game. So, I'm going to notch that as a loss, unfortunately. I mean, just... It's the Saints. You know, the Saints have been great for a number of years for a reason, and they finished 13-3 last season. So, I mean, I'm just keeping it 100. All right, and then we go back home and we play the Atlanta Falcons in Week 8. So 2 back-to-back divisional games. Whew. I think we should get this win. I really do. I think they will have learned from the first meeting. You know, even though they beat us twice last year, I think we'll get Atlanta at home. I think we'll get them at home. I do. So, I think we'll split with Atlanta. Okay, next up, Week 9. Week 9, we go back on the road against the Kansas City Chiefs. I'm gonna tell you right now, we're not winning that game. Nope. Nope. I really don't see us winning that game. I mean, they're the defending Super Bowl champs for a reason. Their roster hasn't really changed much, if any. Yeah. No. I'll be cheering like crazy, and I hope for the best, but we're not beating the Chiefs. I just don't see it. I don't think it's even close. I don't think it's close. So, unfortunately, I'm going to have to say a loss to the Chiefs for that. All right, Week 10. Week 10, we return home for the second meeting with the Bucs. I think we'll split. And we'll get this victory against the Tom Brady-led Buccaneers. I think we'll split with Tampa Bay this year. So, loss on the road, win at home. So, same thing with Atlanta. Loss on the road, win at home. All right. Week 11 is we stay at home and we play the Detroit Lions. Oh, Detroit. Another team that we lost in a very close game last season, which we really had no business losing that game. We had no business losing that game. I mean, the team finished 3-12-1 last year. I mean, I know I can't really say we did that much better, but I felt like with what we had at the time, we really we really should have won that game. We should have won that game. But I think we'll redeem ourselves this time. I think we'll redeem ourselves this time. I know that their first round draft pick was Jeff Okudah, so it'll be interesting to see how he does by that time of the season. Be interesting to see what Matthew Stafford we get in that game. Because, there have been a few times where Matthew Stafford will walk away with 4 to 5 touchdowns, and then there's other times where he'll just suck it up. But I think we should win that game. I think we really should win that game. I think we'll get revenge from the last meeting. So, yeah. Carolina should beat Detroit. And then, Week 12, the week before the bye, we go on the road and we play the Minnesota Vikings. Yeah, honestly, it's another game I don't see us winning. I don't see us winning that game. Minnesota has been good for quite a bit. They finished 10-6 last year. And because let's be real, Kirk Cousins did a pretty good job. He did a good job at Minnesota, and they look strong. They look strong, and I don't know. And then again, they don't have Stephon Diggs anymore, so I mean, I don't know. But I just don't feel that they've lost, that much to really change that much of the team. So I'm going to have to say this is probably going to be a loss. I think this is probably going to be a loss, unfortunately. And then we go into the bye week. So we have a late bye week this season. I know last year we kind of had it a little bit early, and but yeah, I believe we had the bye after the London game, yeah, if I remember correctly. But yeah, so week 13 is the bye week for Carolina, and then week 14 they bounce back to play the Denver Broncos. The Broncos, I feel like we should win. The Broncos really haven't been strong. Not like how they used to be. But, I mean, they finished 7-9 last year. So, I mean, they're not great, but they're not terrible. So, this could be one of those that's close. This could be one of those that's close. But this may be a squeak by victory. And it really could go either way, but I'm going to say we will squeak by with a victory. That's what I feel. I think we'll squeak by with a victory. And it may even be a low-scoring game. Who knows? And then, week 15, we go on the road against the Green Bay Packers. Ugh. No. Don't see us winning that game. I mean, I know there's still a lot up in the air with Aaron Rodgers, and of course, they have Jordan Love. But I don't see us winning that. I don't even remember the last time Carolina's even beaten Green Bay at Lambeau. Yeah, I don't even remember. Because I believe they played them at Lambeau last season. Came close, but couldn't get the job done. So, yeah, I don't see us winning this. I really don't. Green Bay, they won their division last season. I mean, they're still an excellent team for a reason. They finished at 13-3. And I feel like they're still a strong, difficult team. So, yeah, I think this will be a loss. I definitely think this will be a loss. And then we continue on the road. So the last road game of the season is Week 16, and we play the now Ron Rivera coached Washington Redskins. Oh, man. Oh, man. Now, of course, we lost to the Redskins last season. They finished 3-13. I think they're definitely a better team now. And honestly, just I think Rivera's going to get his revenge against Carolina. I do. I think he's going to get his revenge, and they're going to destroy us. I know that may not sound accurate at all on paper, but you remember when we let go Steve Smith, and then we played Baltimore? Steve Smith made us look like babies. Made us look like we were a high school team trying to cover them. And Steve Smith got sweet, sweet revenge. And honestly, I have a feeling that's what's gonna happen with Coach Ron Rivera and his Redskins. So, sorry to say, I think this is gonna be a loss. I think this is gonna be a loss. And then we close the season at home against the Saints. Unfortunately, I don't see us splitting with the Saints. So I think this also will be a loss. I do. Saints just on paper are such a much stronger team. They were on top of the division for a reason. So I think we'll end up losing both games to the Saints, unfortunately. So let me do a quick recap of the teams that I predicted that will win. So Raiders, Chargers, Cardinals, Bears, Falcons, Bucs, Lions, Broncos. So yeah, 8-8. After looking through it, 8-8. I honestly feel like that's the best that will finish this year is 8-8. I do. I think this is a 8-8 potential team. Now, anything can happen, of course. You know, this is just my predictions. But, you know, it's a tough schedule as it is. Especially, you know, with the team that we have. Mainly because there's a lot that's new about this Carolina Panthers team going into this season. But I'm excited. I'm anxious. I'm very, very anxious to see what this team looks like on the field. I'm so anxious because, you know, we got a new everything. New quarterback, new offensive line, you know, new defensive line, new secondary, you know, fairly new linebacker, pretty much new linebacking core. Yeah, the receivers are still kind of similar. Brand new coaching staff across the board, offense, defense, you know, and special teams. You know, offensive coordinator Joe Brady, defensive coordinator Phil Snow. The Matt Rule era has begun, and you know what? I'm anxious to see how we do. I really am. I know a lot of analysts and folks, you know, are predicting the team to finish last. And I get it. But at the same time, we have to also remember that, with everything that's going on, we have yet to see even a preseason game. So it'll be interesting to see how well the talent does, especially the young talent, in the preseason. I'm really going to be keeping my eyes on players. I'm not going to be so fixated on wins and losses in the preseason, because I'm really going to be focused on the talent, on what we have, and who can really stick out the most. But, I think this team has a chance to go 8-8. Do I see them making the playoffs? No. Unfortunately, no. And that's understandable. This is a rebuilding season. There's a lot that's new, so we have to get used to it. Now, if we end up being successful, great. And if it doesn't work out, understandable. But this team is not tanking. I can tell you that right now. I truly believe in my heart we're not tanking, and it's not worth tanking. It's not worth it. It's never worth it. I'm sorry, but tanking is for cowards. If you're not there to play to win each and every game on there, if you're not putting yourself in positions to win games, Herman Edwards said it himself. You play to win the game. So honestly, tanking is for cowards. I will never have any respect for tanking, even if it's my own team, and they decide to do that. Tanking is for cowards. I don't care what benefits may come from it. It's a coward move. It's a coward. That's just my honest feelings with that. But that's all that I have. Let me know what y'all's thoughts are. Do y'all see us going 8-8? Do you think the record will be better? Do you think the record will be worse? How do you think they'll finish in the division? Do you think they'll finish last again, or better? What are your predictions on some of these games? Do you think there are certain games that I thought they would win that they would lose, or vice versa? Definitely let me know what y'all's thoughts are, and definitely share your predictions as well. Because, like I said, I'm very anxious, really, to see how this team does with the new talent that's on this team. And it could turn out good or it can turn out bad, but I'm just ready. I'm excited, and I can't wait to see this team on the field. Anyway, that's all I have. Thank y'all so much for watching. Hope everybody has a blessed weekend. This is Blitzball Champ signing off. Peace.